Alright, so this is the second part. You can see a different color. This is Lebanon Valley. Pretty much exclusively running drag radials. This is 2013 fastest street car in the valley. You have to do a 30-mile cruise. It was very hot on this day. It's John Sorbonne filming. I embarrassed him by destroying my rear end. That's pretty much a stock Ford 9-inch. And then this is a little bit less than a year later, June of 2014. That last was August of 13. I guess nobody else wanted to film me in 2013. This is a nitrous run. This is the quickest the car goes on nitrous, but not the fastest. It goes 143 later this year with a little bit different tune-up, but it's now a plate kit as opposed to what you saw in 1.5. It was a fogger. Oof. About 1,000 foot, you'll see the driver's mirror flop. There it goes. So 137, 60 foot, 954, 140. Very good run. Here's the following year at that same race that I broke my rear end. That sounds terrible.
You broke your rear end?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So again, the 30-mile cruise, and they randomly, the editor of the magazine, Eastern Hot Rodder, randomly pairs you up, and this is one of the fastest guys. This is one of the local, local kings. I don't remember his name. Wouldn't mention it anyway. It's not very nice, but that's the blown Chevelle, big tire. I foot brake, have small tires, a little bit of nitrous, so he pretty much thinks he has his one in the bag. I shut off at 1,000 foot and went like at 10 something. My first run to get a test pass after the 30-mile cruise. Whole shot him by a tenth and some change. He does have a quicker ET, but I did beat him to the finish line. So that was cool. You have to drive in front of the crowd on the way back. That was fun.
New Jersey guy.
Yeah. I believe the only person from New Jersey, so I was like the outsider. So now the award for beating one of the fastest guys is getting their other fastest guy. The drop off from him to the next guy was, like half a second or so. So they just kept throwing cars at me. Apparently they wanted me to go home. This is the guy that eventually won. And this one, you'll see the car. I treat him pretty good, but the car spins the tires and bounces on the radials, and it's very destructive. You see it hesitates, so I mat it. I go all the way off the throttle, back on it, catches it, kind of lifts the wheels again, but he drove around me. And he won, but it was a good time. What happened right there, you'll get an in-car version of that here, and you see how violent it is. Was testing later that year. 275 drag radials, turbo 400 trans, 4.9-inch, pump gas, big block, 1/4-inch stroke, so it's 489 cubic inches. Go through the procedure and bang the nitrous to the motor a little bit. Put in the first gear, line myself up. Go down to the lower left, I see the hole where the stage beams are. That's my reference. It's pretty violent. And that pretty much, when I broke the rear, it bent the drive shaft, tore up the transmission and the converter. All that stuff was changed, and that run, I suspect I have a rear anti-roll bar that keeps the car level. That was bent on that prior run because of all the bouncing and because of any other prior bouncing. Kind of adds up. So one arm of the rear anti-roll bar was about to get folded up, and this folds up completely. As this is Andrew Hinckley, you see him in the big shot, you see him to the right, and that's his shot of the car from the outside. It's pretty neat. We sync that up right here.
It's okay.
Yeah. The natural torque of the car, left front, is going to want to lift up, and if you don't have any roll bar, this is how the car behaves. And I tried to stay in as long as I could, but you could see me trying to correct left and the car just shoving itself to the right. I knew something was terribly wrong. The car's not level and that happens. But it is neat. I found an app. There's probably 5 million of them at this point. This is 2014 still. And it's obviously a mile-an-hour app. And you'll see this run I go 1054, 129, and you'll see how accurate this simple app is. It's pretty neat. And you see the acceleration, like the benchmark is always 0 to 60. 0 to 60 is probably a little over 2 seconds, I would say. You'll see the app. It takes a moment for it to catch up. That stretch looking on. Pressing. Why is this phone? Let's see, it catches up. 90, 100, 8. There's 129. There you go. That was pretty neat. I look back at it, I'm like, oh my god, that's pretty good.
I'm surprised it's actually queued to be able to handle that, you know?
It looks like it's refreshing like every half second.
Sure. Yeah.
So, 2015, I believe I had 6 wins in 2015. Mm-hmm. I announced the regular point Sunday, so I'll get a limited chance to race. So usually it's Wednesday night. Tom Spangler, everybody knows Tom Spangler if you're listening to this, I'm sure. Multi-time track champ, very accomplished racer, foot brake, delay box, very good racer, always tough to beat. He's in the final. This is the final round. Janine is filming. And what happens? Suspense.
I bet you go forward.
That's not always a guarantee if you've seen the Honda video. Someone launching in reverse. So we're both pre-staging, no games, no nothing. Both foot braking. He goes in deep. I poke in. I see his red light, so I'm pretty late. I did notice his red light. But that was one of 2 in a row. I believe that was late August, and I think the following week in September, Wednesday night, I did win that one as well, which is pretty neat. So here's another. At the end of the year, Sundays, management allowed me to race. This is one of the Sundays I was doubling up in Pro and Super Pro, and this is the first qualifier time trial in Pro. It's John Dixon on the other side. 66 Nova. See it bumping in, my left leg going up and down, bumping in. It starts the day by spinning the tires and me going nowhere. So it's like, oh man. It was a pretty overcast day in November. But the good thing is, since I'm doubling in Super and Pro, I'll get 4 shots at it. I believe I adjusted tire pressure slightly. I don't got to move too much. And this is the first run in Super. And Steve Russell on the other side. He was having trouble. Took him a while to get to the starting line. This one kind of edited that out. But you can see he accelerates to the 8th mile, and he still beats me to the finish line, which is very demoralizing. Yeah. And here is the second run in Super. Mark Polvoy, Howell's own Mark Polvoy. Don't act like you don't know who Mark Polvoy is.
Oh, he's the best.
Great racer.
With a tattoo, right?
With a heart, in a heart. That's him in the Monte Carlo, and this is the... Is this first round? I want to say this is first round.
Asking me. You're the one that watches a bunch of
this is first round, yes. Against Joe Fossarino in his 52 Chevy, the nuclear football we refer to it as.
Oh, yeah.
We're both pre-staged. We start bumping in. So first round is always the toughest. Most racers tell you that. And most nerves, you're waiting around all day. You're like, oh, I got to at least go around here. I think I was 030 something. He was in the same ballpark. Had a time slip somewhere. I glance over at about half track, 1,000 foot, let off a little bit before, and I get very excited. You announce these. Well, not you. I announce these guys every Sunday. I know who's good, and these are all the regular racers that I'm putting up against, and it's tough competition. This is
it's cool.
The best they have to offer.
You definitely seem happy about that with 3.
Yes, it's a stress relief. and you start the day spinning tires. This is the first round in Pro. I was thrown off with the crosstalk because the top amber stays on, which is his first top amber, kind of messes up my timing. That's my excuse. That's why I was a little bit late. I think I was like 50 or 60 something. I think he was 30 or 40. I dumped it at the top and broke out a little bit, so they did have buybacks, so I bought back in Super. You just put up your entry fee again, and you get back into competition. All the buybacks race each other.
Yeah.
And I get into second round of Super. This is second round of Pro. Gentlemen, another Monte Carlo. See the dialing on the window, 1009, so things are going well. The air is good. Yeah. There's the now defunct Raceway Park Drive Strip, unfortunately. But that was second round. This is second round of Super. And now the N on my window, which means the top light will not hang up there if I'm racing a slower car. I think he was dialed a couple tenths slower than me. Jim Young, another very tough racer, great photographer as well here in the Northeast. And they right together. Reaction times again very close. We both had the same idea. Once we got to the top end, we both dumped it, and it was a double breakout. I just broke out by a little bit less, but another tough racer. Pro, I ended up going to the final round, and I think I red lit by 6 or 7 thousandths, somewhere in that ballpark, 00 something red. And I got to the finals in Super and won that with 007 green, and that was a good day. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, cool, man.